tells this part of the story. You're on.
We get to clap for
Eric, you've done such a great job at pulling this together. Thank you so much. And the book is
And
great.
this one here.
Karen, all your efforts with Dad have been just fantastic. To be here and to celebrate the life of a great man in our minds and is a fun. It's a fun thing. I think he would view it as a great gathering, and we would just have a twinkle in his eye the whole time. And so that's my goal too, is to just enjoy this gathering of friends and family. But I do have a job to do, and I had to go to Eric's book to learn all about it. And I went to the internet, and it's and there's some mementos here in this house about the Apollo mission. Maybe some of you have seen Apollo 13, a dramatized movie that was made about the mission that where they didn't land on the moon. But of course, Apollo 11, we did land on the moon. And my mom, I had to ask my mom for some more information too, because I was trying to study up. But anyway, her quote was, "Those were heady days." And if you think about it, that might have been humankind's greatest exploration up to this date. We actually went off of our Mother Earth. Geology, of course, is the study of the Earth, and my dad and myself and my brother and my son, we all are engaged in that wonderful activity, and my wife. But to go to another planet, wow, that is an exploration of great importance. I'm not sure we could do that as well now as they could do it then in the 60s, but so Dad participated in this, what must have been extremely exciting endeavor. And it's not like a single person going to the top of a mountain. This is a whole nation working to achieve something, which almost seemed impossible. So there was the background, and we moved there in 65. And he was the reason that Gene Shoemaker asked him to join astrogeology. Was Dad was so good at, because of this huge project in Alaska, he was trying to map the entire state of Alaska, and he relied on, geologists are always interested in new technologies. He was using air photographs. So instead of having to walk everywhere, you could use the photographs and interpret what was on the ground. So it was that skill of his which then led to the moon maps. And so Apollo 11 was when we first landed on the moon. Humans walked on the moon. Apollo 12 was, there's a map in the back room there that Dad created to show of the landing site. Here's A, and here's B, and these are the places that they were supposed to touch down, because based on the photo of geology, there weren't as many rocks to set the spacecraft and be smoother walking and maybe more interesting geology. So, but they didn't land in A, B, or C. They landed somewhere else. I don't remember all the details, but the famous quote, which we wish we had the tape of, was Walter Cronkite on national TV, who had just been to our house in Flagstaff with a crew of 8 or something. And so he's back talking about it, and the quote was, "Where are they, Thor? Where are they now?" We got to find that on. But, there's a great picture in this brochure that Karen put together of a couple of pipe smokers, Thor and Walter Cronkite. And we were there. I don't remember much of it. They hit it off quite well, I'm sure. And that apparently Dad's knowledge of the site was impressive to Walter, and that was a funny quote. So that was the Apollo, let's see, the Apollo 12 map was dated 1969. So Dad was 49, and I just graduated from high school, and you guys were in that same sort of range. Then they divided up, and just like we mapped the Earth for geology, they mapped all the quadrangles on the moon. And so Dad's quadrangle was the Shikard quadrangle, and it was published in 72 or 73. So those were times, I was out of high school, hadn't gone yet to college, but or maybe just off and on. But we didn't see that much of him. He was super busy. And he's been accused of being a workaholic. And of course that's true. And but I always liked the term, I forget who told me, workaholic. You know, he absolutely was passionate about science and about his work. And maybe he didn't get the credit he deserved, but boy, what a life he led in pursuit of knowledge and ideas. And we learned a lot from him. We gained that, I think, as children and grandchildren, and it's a marvelous legacy that he's left us. This passion for knowledge and passion for family, and we're so grateful for his influences. A funny thing about the training of astronauts still going on, and we had our house. We had the most recent class of astronauts were doing their training in New Mexico, and so I still feel like we're participating in astronaut training. But in that case, it was mainly I was making the margaritas, so that was my sort of help with their training. But back in Flagstaff, they would blow up these cinder craters, and they had these moon rovers they were trying out. The astronauts were flying around in jetpacks, and we got to participate in that. What a great thing for us to experience. So I'll read later on when we, in the next segment, I'll read a little bit from some people who wrote who weren't able to be here today. You know, I probably pop in with a few reminiscences during that time too, but I feel like my dad and I have always kind of knew what each other were thinking. I mean, I never felt there was ever a problem with understanding him, and I felt he always understood me. We didn't need words very much, and so I don't know, the great reminiscences, but I'll pipe in with them later on. So I think Rolf is next.
I guess we're going out of order.